Okay, let me try. Are we low enough? Oh, look. Can you go? Hi, guys. Let's have a look. Let me get me over just to the side a bit. Okay, guys, I never come on. I never come on at this time. What is, I woke up later today because I was up late last night waiting for my wife to get home from, she had a party night out with her mates. Normally now I'm like, oh, I want to go sleep. But I'm full of beans. So I thought we are going to finally, let me take these earphones out. We are going to finally read the rest of Andrew Morenin's comments. We were up to, we had just read out all of Priscilla's accomplishments. We'd broken them down. We disputed a few of them. We disagreed with some of them. Every one of Priscilla's accomplishments are because of Elvis. Everyone. Hi, Richie boy. How we going? So we're doing, what time is it, Louis? There it is, 7:45. Normally by now, I'm like the kids are behind the camera, Tino and Yasmin, okay? And they've promised me they're going to be quiet. So anyway, in case you don't know, we've had, I'm live, yeah? In case you don't know, we've had Andrew Morenin sent me his research. He is a researcher. He's read loads of books. He has strong views about many topics. I want you to know, guys, these are not my views. I've said this on every video that I've done concerning Andrew's research. These are not my views. These are Andrew's views. So some people are messaging me saying, giving me their opinions, but the dog wants to go out again. Go on in. But what I'm saying is, these are Andrew's views. And now I think Andrew spent how long? A whole week typing all this up? The least we can do is read out his questions and answers. That's the least we can do. I actually think a lot of Andrew's research is very good. Me and Andrew do disagree on our views on Priscilla. Yeah? Andrew's views on Priscilla are that Elvis and Priscilla were always in love, probably from when she moved to Graceland until they divorced. Oh no, until the day he died. I don't agree with that. I want to make it very clear. I do not agree that Elvis and Priscilla were in love till the day Elvis died. Definitely don't think it. 100%. I even question that they may not have even been in love. It could have been infatuation. It could have been, maybe it was on and off. Maybe they thought they were in love and then realized they weren't. Maybe they crossed paths at the wrong time. Because I've always said this, guys. Priscilla wasn't ready to have a baby. Elvis wasn't ready to get married. Get it? Elvis wasn't ready to just have one girlfriend. Priscilla, when she was younger, when she first moved to Graceland, wanted Elvis all to herself. You get it? So there was a lot of this going on. Get it? There was a lot of, they just weren't right. The truth is they weren't right. Now, someone did ask me a question about let me just read the question. I won't say who it was. I just want to read. Someone asked me a question. Hang on. So I just got to send someone a link if I can do it. Let's have a look. Someone asked me a question. And let me just, 1 second, guys. I'm just going to send this link. Remember, I'm live, little man. Tino the Beano. Right, let's have a look. So, guys, just so you know, I have done three lives today defending. Oops. 1 second. I have done 3 lives today defending Elvis, exposing Priscilla. 3. That doesn't include the dog walks. I also did 2, maybe even 3 dog walks. And definitely one of those dog walks, I was defending Elvis, exposing Priscilla. Of course, yeah, Richie, can I just say Marlon Brando was definitely not a friend of Elvis? Of course. Of course. Right. How are you, Richie boy? How's life, mate? So let me just share this link. Right, remember we've got to be quiet, Tino. Copy link. I'll just share this link. Here we are. I may as well send the link on to Defending Elvis, innit? Why not? Okay. I'll stick it on the Facebook. Why not? Defending Elvis. In case you don't know, we have a Defending Elvis Presley Facebook page. Okay, right. I think that's it. I'll keep your comments here, guys, so that I can watch. I think I got them up. Yeah. Okay. Right. So obviously Andrew Morenin's comments, research is his research, his books. He does it from a lot of books. He's mentioned all different books. Now, a few people keep bringing up the book Elvis Letters. Now, Andrew Morenin actually says he doesn't rate that book. He doesn't see that book, take that book seriously. All this research that Andrew has sent me isn't based on the book Elvis Letters. He does refer to it a few times, but he mentioned another book, but he's also told me that he's got his research from lots of different books. Yeah. So now the whole thing with Marlon Brando, which has got a bit of a reaction, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if they knew each other. I don't know if they met. I've had some people message me saying that they sat next to each other, behind each other in a canteen, briefly were introduced. I've had, obviously we know about Rita Moreno. There was stuff going on there because obviously she liked Marlon Brando. At some point she's seeing Elvis. What I'm saying is that the Marlon Brando thing seems to have got a lot of interest. But to be honest with you, my attitude to Marlon Brando is, who cares? Does it really matter if Elvis met Marlon Brando or not? Is it relevant? Is it important? Guys, do any of you here think Elvis meeting Marlon Brando, whether it's true or not, matters at all? I personally can't see how it does. Elvis met thousands and thousands of very well-known celebrities. So obviously he's a very interesting person, isn't he? Marlon Brando. He's got a very complex life, and a lot of people bring up his son. Stuff went on there. Right, come on in, you go. In. Come on in. You're going to go up now. Up, 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 up. Come on. Looks like it's going to rain. Up, 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 up. Okay, actually looks like it's going to rain, guys. So, let's have a look. Let's get your messages. Hi, Melissa. She used Elvis to piss Brando off. That's all there is to it. Yeah, you're on about Rita. Rita, yeah. And I have read that quite a few times. And, right. So, but believe it or not, some people have messaged me and said they did meet in a canteen on a movie set. It could have been in 1958, King Creole, and that they were both in the canteen and they were sat behind each other and they briefly introduced each other. But other people have said that they would write letters to each other. So I've had comments that they did and they didn't. Yeah. Right. So I was going to mention, I think, let's have a look. There was a comment asked of me by Melissa. Melissa, you don't mind that I mention it, do you? Melissa, do you mind I mention our conversation? Melissa said to me, Melissa, do you mind that I mention it? Because I don't want to talk about it unless, if it bothers you, if you mind. It's not a big deal, just something Melissa had said. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find it now. Melissa, do you mind me mentioning? Yeah, okay. So we had 3 live streams this morning. The first live stream, obviously, we had a few disagreements, but I've watched it back. If you watch the whole of that live stream, I spend a lot of it defending Elvis and exposing Priscilla. Then I do it again on the second live stream. On the third live stream we did this morning, almost all of it exposes Priscilla all the way through. It's nearly an hour long. Yeah. So if anyone has any doubt that I defend Elvis and expose Priscilla, just please, I ask you kindly, please watch the 3 live streams. Please watch them. But I did want to just show you something, guys. I'm going to mention Melissa's comment in a second. Let's have a look. Let me just get this up a minute. I did want to just quickly show you something, guys. Let's have a look. Now remember, anyone can message me personally. If anyone wants to message me personally on Facebook Messenger, I will answer any questions. Obviously, we have a 24-hour messenger, don't we? So let me just make a bit of space here. We have a 24-hour messenger, and anyone can message me one-on-one, and I will answer any questions, okay? But I did want to just quickly show you something, guys. If there's anyone here that is confused and think that I don't defend Elvis and expose Priscilla, yeah, let me just show you this. I do 3 to 4 live streams a day. Most of you know anyway, exposing Priscilla, defending Elvis. So here they are, look. If you look, defending Elvis, Priscilla Presley, defending Elvis. If you look through these are, I reckon I'm averaging at 4 a day. Defending Elvis, exposing Priscilla. Yeah? Look at all these guys. All of them exposing Priscilla, defending Elvis. Defending Lisa Marie as well. Yeah? Defending the bloodline. Okay? So please, guys, let me just get it back up. It's gone now. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, does it? So, guys, anybody that has any doubt that I don't defend Elvis, expose Priscilla for her wrongdoing, defend Lisa, just watch my live streams. Even today, 4 live streams today, nearly an hour long, defending Elvis, exposing Priscilla. So please know this. There is no doubt here. Yeah. Please don't confuse Andrew Morenan's research. Remember, not Louis' research, Andrew Morenan's research with the fact that I defend Elvis, expose Priscilla. Yeah. Don't confuse this. This is not my research, Andrew's. There's many things in Andrew's research that I don't agree with. And I've told Andrew myself many things. Right, let me just quickly mention Melissa's comment. So somebody, let's have a look. Let me just, sorry, I just want to quickly touch on this because I want to read off Andrew's research. Where are we? So someone sent me a comment saying, I was just trying to understand when you said Priscilla didn't choose her own path. I repeat it. I was just trying to understand when you said Priscilla didn't choose her own path. I didn't say that. I did not say that. This is what happened. Somebody commented saying Priscilla chose her own path. Somebody else, not me. Somebody else commented saying Priscilla chose her own path. Yeah? I responded to the comment and said, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. Yeah? And I think what I was saying was once Priscilla moved over to Graceland at the end of 62, 63, whatever it is, when she was nearly 18, there was a lot more to it. Yeah. Oh, hi, Misha. Yeah. Oh, it could have been. I don't actually remember who said it because we were getting a lot of comments, but I was responding and I was just saying there's a lot more to it. And I stand by that. Once Priscilla moved over, there was a lot of circumstances. There was the way that Elvis was living, what Priscilla got up to. Obviously, at first she was with Vernon and Dee. Elvis was off making movies. So the whole situation was very messy. The Memphis Mafia are around. There's other women involved. So we could bring up yes. So Louis, you said at the end that you don't agree she chose her own path. So that's why I asked you. I don't. Let me just get that in my brain. You don't. Right. Louis, you said at the end that you don't agree that she chose her own path. No, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I said. What I said was, once I remember I responded to a comment. Someone said you chose your own path. I think it was Michelle. And I said it's not that simple. That's what I said. It's not that simple. If you want to watch it back, guys, you can play it back, yeah? Sorry, but I do agree that she chose. Sorry, but I do agree that she chose her own path. Yeah, okay. But remember, I never said it. I never said she chose her own path. Yeah. And what I said was, when after that comment was said, I said, well, it's not that simple. Yeah. No one locked her in a cage. I made her choose or do anything. I agree. Melissa, I agree. Remember that she chose her own path didn't come from my mouth. Yeah. This is other people's comment. We all face choices at any age. We choose to bunk off school. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Remember that choose her own path is not my comment. So yeah, okay. Right. So, right. I'm going to start reading this. Okay, right. Let's do this. So we are on point number 33. This is Andrew's research. Let me just get them. I don't want to read something I've already read. So, right, we're on 33. What were some comical and unusual statements made by Priscilla? Now, remember, this is Andrew's comment. This is Andrew's, not Louis. I'm reading it out. Priscilla called Michael Edwards on the telephone and said, I'm pregnant at age 40, but you are not the man. I don't know that comment. Okay. The next thing is Terry O'Neill said that it took a whole hour for Priscilla to get ready for lovemaking. Eventually, I left. Okay. Remember, not my comment. Yeah, Richie boy, we're going to have some fun, mate. We're going to have some fun. How's life treating you, Richie? Priscilla says to Elvis, I'm leaving you. Elvis says to Linda, how could she be leaving me for a karate instructor, 25,000, who's on 25,000 salary? Okay. Now remember, I'm reading this off. Okay. Right. Question number 34. Did Priscilla sue Cary Grant, who introduced Elvis to Priscilla, but did not sue Suzanne Finstad, who wrote about the story in Child Bride? Yes, I think we know about this, don't we? So yeah, Priscilla did sue, didn't she? Right, so let's listen to Andrew's answer. Yes, Priscilla sued for defamation about her life at age 14. The lawsuit ended on August the 19th, 1988. Around the same time the movie Elvis and Me was released. Both the movie and the book Child Bride had conflicting versions of the truth, but since Priscilla did not sue Suzanne Finstad, the author of the book Child Bride, yeah, this book, there we go. Where are we? Sorry, I've lost my place. Was both the movie and the book Child Bride had conflicting versions of the truth, but since Priscilla did not sue Suzanne Finstad, the Child Bride book's rendition, then the truth is what written in that book, and since the conversations were all recorded on tape. Yeah. So what I think Andrew is saying, Andrew Morenin, if you're here, hi, is that Andrew believes. All right, bye, love you. Andrew believes this book. Andrew Morenin, remember, he believes this book. Now, yes, Andrew's views on Priscilla is that he feels that Priscilla and Elvis were always in love. He does. That's Andrew's views. I don't agree. I don't think they were. Yeah. But that's his views. Okay. So yeah, right. Let's have a look. Next, guys, we have to mention Priscilla. That's how we defend. Priscilla is the number one way that we defend Elvis. We have to expose the wrongdoing of Priscilla. And that also defends Lisa. So we're never going to not mention Priscilla. I understand how you feel, Jane. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Right. So we've done that. So I think from that comment, we deduce that Andrew believes the book Child Bride fully. Yeah, he fully believes the book Child Bride. Yeah, that's so. Remember, we're still reading Andrew's comments. Richie boy, okay. Right. What was the worst statement that Priscilla in her book Elvis and Me made that was not truthful? Now, Andrew's comments, questions and answers. Yeah, this is number 35. He taught me everything: how to dress, how to talk, how to walk, how to apply makeup and wear my hair, how to behave, how to return love his way. Over the years, he became my father, husband, and very nearly God. So these are Priscilla's words, yeah? Andrew is saying that is the worst thing that she could have said because it's all lies. Andrew, this is where Andrew is exposing Priscilla. Even though he thinks that Elvis and Priscilla were always in love, on and off, whatever, you know, a very, very rocky relationship. I don't agree, by the way. He's exposing her lies. All of this is lies. Yeah. He taught me how to walk, do my hair, makeup, behave, everything. So again, Andrew is exposing. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't personally think that Andrew is a Priscilla fan. This is what I think of Andrew. I think that he thinks that Priscilla and Elvis were always in love, even through all the bad times. I don't think he's a Priscilla fan because in his research, he's exposing it, yeah? What were Priscilla's worst character flaws in her life? Elvis, she had a split personality, which I've heard many times people say. There was love and hate, jealousy and revenge. So Andrew is saying there was a lot of jealousy and revenge with Priscilla. I agree with that. Sex, she had sex with anyone. So I think, come on, guys. We had a joke about this earlier. Yeah. Priscilla was naughty. She was a bit of a slapper. Yeah. So she would see different men. Yeah. Next comment. How did Elvis react to Priscilla after she divorced him? At first, he couldn't believe it. Then he was saying, he was questioning how unkind he was to her. Now, this is Andrew's stuff, yeah? Yeah, so, and then eventually, we all know this about Elvis. Eventually, he wants to calm down, doesn't he? Eventually, he's like, he wants to forgive and blame himself, you know. Hillbilly Cat History. Hi. I think everyone who has written a book about Elvis has revealed a nasty reflection of themselves at some point in the text. I don't understand. Hillbilly Cat? Please explain. I'm not sure what you mean. You did it? Sorry. So I'm just quickly catching up on the comments. Sorry, I'm reading, aren't I? Yep. All right, okay. Richie, we're going to have a disco one day, mate. You know me. I don't understand. Right, I think Priscilla plotted when Elvis didn't take her back when she got in a fight with Mike Stone. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Hillbilly Cat, I'm just seeing if you want to respond. I don't really understand your comment, that's all. Yeah, so and I don't think Andrew's on here, is he? Right, let's have a look. Right, number 30, let's have a look. Number 38 from Andrew, yeah? Would Anne Margaret have been a better wife for Elvis than Priscilla? So the answer to, but from Andrew's research, I could not believe. Did I treat her? No, sorry. Definitely yes. She was religious like Elvis, caring and loving. Attended Elvis and Vernon's funeral, and did say if she was there with Elvis, she could have saved him. So, let me shut that door a minute. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, guys, don't want to see the kids screaming at mum. So I'll read it again. Would Anne Margaret have been a better wife for Elvis than Priscilla? Well, I say yes to that. That my answer to that. You guys can answer as well if you want. I say, I definitely say yes. Yeah, I think Anne Margaret's great. I'm a big fan of Anne Margaret. Definitely yes. She was religious like Elvis, which is true. Caring and loving, which is true. Attended Elvis's and Vernon's funerals, and did say if she was there with Elvis, she could have saved him. How many of us here think Anne Margaret could have saved Elvis? I think it's possible. Yeah, put it in the comments, guys. How many of you here think she could have? Red describes Elvis as changed in his older age, but it's Red who changed. I definitely agree that Red changed. Come on. Red's betrayed Elvis. Yeah, they were very close. Red West betrayed Elvis. 100%. Yeah. It's gutting, really, because Red seemed very genuine in the early years, didn't he? I think we all liked Red in the early years, yeah? So, right. Number 39. Elvis did have a third choice of whom to marry, but he said to Billy Stanley just before his passing, I will not tell you, and that was because he had a good reason. She was married, but she never told Elvis. Elvis made a promise that he would never have a relationship with a married woman, so when he found out, they had to go their separate ways. Who was the nearly lucky woman? I don't know. So, right, this is the first time I've read this, guys. So this is Andrew's words before you all bite my head off. It was Joan Blackman. Joan Blackman, Elvis's co-star in Blue Hawaii, and also since Elvis demanded it, she was in his next movie, Kid Galahad. I've never heard that. Does anyone know about that? Remember, this is Andrew's words. Andrew thinks that Elvis liked Joan Blackman enough to marry her. His co-star in Blue Hawaii and Kid Galahad. Sorry, I can't go along with that. I've never heard it before. Have any of you ever heard anything like that before? I haven't. Yeah. So number 40. What would a defender and loyal fan of Elvis say about the greatest entertainer in the world? Okay, right. Well, we all know the answer to that. So that's it. We've got through Andrew's questions and answers. The worst thing in that book is her accusing Elvis of assaulting her in the bedroom before she left. Which book? Which book are we talking about? Hi, Amy. Welcome. The worst thing in that book is her accusing Elvis of assaulting her in the bedroom before she left. Yeah. So, has someone else mentioned the book, have they? Let's have a look. Hi, Auntie Amy. How are you? I never do lives this late, but I woke up late today, so I got a bit of energy. I think Anita would have been the best wife for Elvis. We are big fans of Anita. Obviously, we've been reading her book. I think we got up to about chapter 14. I'm gonna have to say it, guys, that when I went through that book, you know, their relationship was lovely. Yeah. 100%. I've always believed Anita and Elvis did love each other, but Elvis was not gonna settle down. It just wasn't gonna happen, was it, guys? Was it 57? Was it? Come on, he was at the peak of his stardom, making movies, and he had other girlfriends. He was seeing other people, and we know, obviously, when he went to Germany, he had girlfriends in Germany. That's where he meets Priscilla, even though it was just a friendship. So I love Anita, but the more you go into the book, the more you understand that Elvis just wasn't ready to settle. I really believe that. Anita was a decent girl, yeah, who would have given up everything for Elvis, but he wasn't ready. Now, if she had met him before he got famous, it might have been a different story. I've always thought that. If she had met him before he got famous, yeah, maybe, but nah. Right. Let's have a look. So, hi, Susan. Priscilla is like her mother, cold. I don't think anyone could make, not at that point. He wanted a proper love and didn't get it only from his mother. He loved everyone else was with him because he was Elvis. They didn't know the person that he was. I get that. Richie, I completely take that on board. Yeah. I do think Anita Wood truly loved Elvis. I do. Even the romance with June Juniker, I think, was quite special, even though it was short-lived. Now, obviously, you know, we've got Magdalene and Dixie, you know. So, pretty serious relationships. Let's have a look. She recounts it for changing her story when she asked about it. Is this right? I'm sorry, I haven't thought I've missed something here. Yeah, I do like Linda Thompson. Now, that doesn't mean I don't know that her mistakes. It doesn't mean I don't know that she has said many things that she shouldn't have said, and it doesn't mean that I don't understand that she took advantage of him with money. But I like her. Shall I tell you why I like Linda? Because when you watch her interviews, yeah, she speaks so well of Elvis. I'm on about in the last 20 years, yeah? She speaks so well of Elvis, yeah? And she doesn't go out of her way, I don't think she does, to slag off Elvis. She doesn't do it. She may have done in the past. She may have said things in her book. Obviously, we've got her book. But you listen to a Linda Thompson interview now, she's very positive about Elvis. She doesn't trash him. Not that I've seen anyway. I know, obviously, Melissa, you're a big fan of Linda Thompson. Just joking. Just joking, mate. Yeah, I do think once Elvis got famous, it was almost impossible to make him settle down. Karen, I'm going to have to agree with that. Had Anita been allowed to go to Germany, the story would have been different. I don't know, Amy. Don't know. Elvis was like a rocket ship, wasn't he? He was different. I will say this, Amy. I'll say this: if Gladys had been alive when Elvis in 1959, it would have been a different story. I agree with that. Priscilla would have been out the door, and there's a chance Elvis would have married Anita. Do you agree with that? If Gladys was alive Elvis may have married Anita. Yeah, I will say that. Now, do I think it would have worked? Don't know, because Elvis was just experiencing this massive rise to fame, you know, through 56. He was like on a rocket ship. So he was a young man. He was in his 20s, you know. Right, let's have a look. So, you know, you got to put yourself in his shoes, really, haven't you? You know. Let's just see if sorry, the comments are jumping up. Sorry. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's have a look. Hi, Larry. And Margaret is awesome woman. She would have made a good wife. Colonel Parker didn't want it to happen. He didn't want Anne Margaret to outshine his star. Elvis Presley, and Anne had a professional relationship. Yeah, I understand that, but I will say this. You know, some people say to me that Elvis didn't want to be with a woman that had this massive career. Let's face it. Anne Margaret had a massive career. She was big. She was big. The female Elvis. So some people think, let me let the dog out, that Elvis wouldn't have been happy with that. I'll just let you out, you little mutt. Go on then. Up you go. Sorry, guys. Poor old princess. She's like 16 years old, and she's walking around in circles. A reporter asked Priscilla about a rape in Los Angeles newspaper in 1987, and later, Priscilla admitted that she exaggerated a little. Well, I'm pretty sure it was in the 1988 TV melodrama, wasn't it? Made for TV movie series thingy. And it makes Elvis look horrible. And I think she's admitted that it was dramatized for the TV, for the movie. I think I read that Jerry Schilling and Priscilla were producers of that TV melodrama in 1988. Is that right? Thanks for answering, Susan. I wonder why it's not brought up anymore and why they allowed it in the Elvis. Yeah. Well, they're dramatizing everything, aren't they? They're trying to get hits on it, aren't they? Same goes for the book Elvis and Me. Same goes for many of these things, like especially this book. Yeah. It's massively exaggerated, so it sells more books. You know, so it's a money-making machine, isn't it? Sorry, May. I'm Let's have a look. Cassie, I don't know why either, but I guess they are afraid of libel suits. Yeah. I'm falling behind on the comments, sorry. Susan, probably, it seems that she always does softball interviews and it's very litigious. I wonder why Elvis Presley Enterprises tolerated the rape nonsense. If anyone else accused him, you'd think they'd shut it down. So, I just think the problem, I always think this. Whenever I go through any of Elvis's life, any of it, could be any year in his life, I always think he gets a bad rap. He gets unfairly treated. Elvis, right from the start, is picked on, bullied by the press. For example, even when he first comes to fame, when That's All Right Mama comes out, he gets picked on then, doesn't he? Really? Doesn't he? They initially build him up, and then they trash him down. I've listened to these very old mid-50s interviews where Elvis stands up to the reporters and defends himself. Yeah, he almost ridicules the comments. One of the funniest comments was, "Is it true, Elvis, that you shot your mother?" And Elvis says, "That takes the biscuit." Yeah, you know. And I just think all the way through Elvis's life, he has been mistreated, not just by people like Priscilla, but by the press, the tabloids, and he's been taken advantage of by all the people many of the people that were very close to him, like Red West and Sonny West, Dave Heblett, people like that. I just think such a good man with such a kind heart, always taken advantage of, always used and abused. It's just very sad, very sad. I always feel sorry for Elvis. I always feel that he doesn't deserve it. It's actually quite easy for me to stand up for Elvis because I actually feel sorry for him. I sort of relate to, how can I say it? I understand what it feels like to be picked on. Yeah, I did as a kid. When I was a kid in the 80s and the late 70s, in the 70s and 80s, it was pretty standard to be picked on if you were not English, for example. Obviously, I grew up in England. So I understand where you're always a bit downtrodden, people push their luck with you. I get it, you know? So this is why we defend, guys. I always say Elvis can't defend himself. We defend. And same goes for Lisa. I think she gets very unfairly portrayed, Lisa. She doesn't deserve it. It's very unfair. And again, she can't defend herself. So that's where we come along. I wonder why. Let's have a look. Is that just because she ran EPE then? Yeah, good point. She was in. Yeah, she was. Amy, I agree. She had too much power for too long as well. I said it today on the live. Really, her power didn't really wane until poor Lisa Marie died. Once Lisa Marie died, I think that was the beginning of the end for Priscilla. I've always thought that. Obviously, we miss Lisa Marie, God rest her soul. But I've always thought that Priscilla knew there was going to be a massive shift in power when Lisa died. She tried to wangle out of it, and in the end, she negotiates this deal with Riley. But really, I think Priscilla is an outsider now. I really do. I think her days of power have gone. Her days of glory are behind her. Yeah? She knows it as well, I think. EP always loved Anita. His song, I'll Stay Until It's Time for Me to Go, was for Anita. And I agree that she was totally charged. She could do what she wanted. Yeah, I've said it loads of times. She had almighty power. And there's many reasons, but obviously Amy is the reason we know about the lien, the deed of trust created for the debt on Graceland. That gave her a lot of power. A lot of power, a lot of negotiating power. People wonder, why was Priscilla the front woman for Gracelands, the spokesperson? I've always thought two things. Obviously, she's Lisa's mother, and obviously because there was money owed to her when Elvis died. I think this gave her power. And then you got Vernon, who allows her to be the executor. So it all just fell into place for her, didn't it? I think someone's just mentioned Jack Sodden. I always see Jack Sodden as that was an opportunity for Priscilla. Obviously, Jack Sodden was Morgan Maxfield's assistant. He knew everything, didn't he? He was very involved with all of the to do with Memphis City and the workings that went on with the idea of opening Gracelands as a living museum and developing the areas around it. And I just think Priscilla, who allegedly was engaged to Morgan Maxfield, the guy who died in the plane crash, saw an opportunity with Jack Sodden. So I just think, just as an outsider, a fan, that Priscilla saw Jack Sodden as a way of making money, getting power. Jack Sodden saw Priscilla as a way of making money. Yeah? Do we agree with that, guys? It's very win-win, isn't it? Sodden has to be down to his last few years at EPE. Yeah, be interesting to see who takes over. He still doesn't. She's the reason he got the job. Yeah, definite. They've had a very, very cozy relationship, business-wise, financially, very large amounts of money, haven't they, for decades. So we've got Hillbilly Cat History. Hi. Elvis and his family have been maligned by the press since the beginning, which is why I'm retelling the old stories as they should be told on my new channel. So, right. Let me just get your channel up a minute. So I can just tell people about it. Hillbilly. Yeah, we reviewed your video, didn't we? Hillbilly Cat History. Here we go. Let's have a look. Here we go. View channel. Yeah, I remember. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. So, guys, Hillbilly Cat History, he's been doing a deep dive into the ancestry of Elvis. For example, Elvis's mum, Gladys Love Smith. Then we've got Elvis's grandma, grandpa Bob. So, guys, this, I don't know, it was probably not going to focus. No, it's not going to focus. Sorry. But Hillbilly Cat History, guys, please subscribe. Seems like a great channel, my friend. We did review one of the videos the other day. So thank you for joining us. I'm sure we can boost those subscribers for you, my friend. All right, so Andrew has just commented. Hi, Andrew. So Andrew's just quickly messaged me on the YouTube channel. Andrew, are you watching? I don't know if you're watching. I like your comment a lot. You are thinking and analysing for the truth. Your thinking and opinions is all correct. Priscilla did a lot of bad for Elvis and Lisa Marie. For that reason, I'm not a fan of Priscilla. There we go, from the horse's mouth. I am not a fan of Priscilla. And I've said this all along. Andrew isn't a Priscilla fan, but he believes there was love there between Elvis and Priscilla. I don't. I personally think there wasn't love. Yeah? But that's all that Andrew has said. So when he's giving his perspective on all these questions and answers that he sent us, he's doing it from that point of view, as if Elvis still had loving feelings for Priscilla. Yeah? So, but he says it here very clearly. I am not a Priscilla fan. I am not a Priscilla fan. Andrew Morenin, the researcher. Okay. So I think that clears up that. But he does have different views on Priscilla than I have. Yeah. On whether or not they were in love. Yeah. I personally don't think they were in love. Yeah. I think the whole relationship was a mess. And then he goes on to say, but it's only a matter of opinion that Priscilla was instrumental in the early death of Elvis. Okay. So he's saying that he feels Priscilla was instrumental in the early death of Elvis. Now, from the point of view of, how can I say it? We know that Priscilla was still hammering Elvis for more money. The deed of trust was still going on, wasn't it? The lien, the debt, the charge, call it what you want. This was still going on right up until Elvis died, yeah? Is that true? Yeah? So, yes, it is possible that, don't forget, we know at the same time this book had been released, Elvis What Happened, by Sonny West, Red West, Dave Hebler. Elvis was also very unwell, heavily medicated on prescribed medication, very sick. So, all of these factors all culminate in Elvis's death, and Priscilla is one of them, and Andrew is saying that. So then he's saying that Priscilla said that when he died, Priscilla said, how could he die on me? I think I've seen that somewhere. But previously she said Elvis could not live with a divorce. I don't know about that. put the two statements together and she did harm to Elvis. Yeah, so he's speaking about me now. Louis has always said Priscilla did not love Elvis. I have. I admit it. I have always said that to me that wasn't proper love. Yeah? And then, so, which he agrees with me. Thank you, Andrew. So then he goes on to say, Andrew goes on to say, so maybe she did not love Elvis. So Andrew's now saying that maybe she didn't love him. I don't think it was love. It was, Priscilla was out for what she could get. I do believe many of the things that were said in this book. I do. I don't believe many of the things said in this book. I disbelieve many of the things in this book. This is a fairy tale, a fake fairy tale that went wrong. This book has been conning the world, scamming the world for 40 years. Yeah, this book is a complete rip-off. Priscilla couldn't believe that the public was so gullible and believed everything she said. And not only the public, the interviewers, the news companies around the world have all treated that book like a Bible, like everything in it is true. It's disgusting. The damage that book has done in 40 years is unbelievable. And the thing about it is you can't undo the damage it's done. And it's still doing damage now. I would say there's still a massive part of the population around the world that believe every word in that book, that believe the film, Sofia Coppola's film, Priscilla. They believe it. We know Lisa didn't want that film made. Yeah? And the other problem we've got is the book From Here to the Great Unknown is being forgotten. We keep saying it. We want justice for Lisa Marie. This book is like it never got written. It's unbelievable. The horrendous things that have said in this book about Michael Edwards and the alleged sexual abuse of poor Lisa Marie. It has been swept under the carpet and forgotten. No one's been arrested. It's just horrendous, the whole thing, even though Michael Edwards admitted it in this book. Admitted it. I could read it out. He admits in this book the sexual abuse. Yeah? And, you know, on another topic, now we discussed this earlier. Priscilla, I think she was so obsessed with Michael Edwards that she almost tricked herself into thinking it never happened. Very stupid, a massive mistake. And the victim was Lisa. Yeah, this is just my opinion. She is so obsessed with Michael Edwards that she chooses to not believe that there had been any sexual abuse. And that was a massive mistake. A massive mistake. And she has to live with that. And it's horrendous. Horrendous. We all want justice for Lisa because that is a crime in itself, because Priscilla is the responsible parent of Lisa Marie. When this was happening, when she was a very young child, 11, 12, 13, Priscilla was the responsible parent. She was there to protect her child. She had taken Lisa away from her father, Elvis, many years ago. And it was her job to protect Lisa Marie, and she didn't. She did not. Even putting her into Scientology, which we know, again, is another crime. Priscilla always put herself first. I come first. I come first. Lisa comes last. It's horrendous. Horrendous. And this is why we expose Priscilla's wrongdoing every day and demand justice for Lisa Marie. So let me just keep reading Andrew's comment. So now Andrew's speaking about himself. I am actually a devoted fan of Elvis's songs and music. And as a kid, I recorded every song that he sang. And now I have every song on video in his songs and concerts from 1972 to 1976. To me, Elvis was singing. He even would apologize to the audience. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I think Andrew is still hinting that he thinks Elvis liked Priscilla more than I do. More than I do. I personally don't think. I think Elvis was sick of Priscilla. So was Vernon. Honestly. Honestly. Right, let's just read these last few comments, guys. Let me just... Right, okay. I'll read them on here because I think it might be easier. Let's have a look. Sorry, guys, because I've been waffling, I've fallen behind. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Where are we? Okay, so you've been commenting quite a lot. Right, let's have a look. I got a bit of catching up to do, I think. Let's have a look. I keep saying, let's have a look. Let's have a look. So Cassie says the whole setup with EPE is really confusing. Who is actually in charge? Elvis and Me was written back in the 80s when everything was still owned by the family. I think it was 1985, wasn't it? So Elizabeth is praising Hillbilly Cat stories. Yeah, I like your channel. I can tell you're still in the early days of your channel, but I like your channel, Hillbilly Cat. I'm gonna have to skip through a little bit, guys, because I want to go to bed because she was the trustee of Elvis Presley's residuary trust. All it was owned by the Presley family. Joel does. He manages 85% of EPE. There's right, Hillbilly Cat. There's a new episode dropping Monday. That'll be good, mate. Hi, Nicola. How are you? So thanks, Elvis Girl. He seems not to like Priscilla, so I wonder why she's around aside from the settlement. Right, sorry. Yeah, so Elvis Girl, she has no involvement in the day-to-day operations. Danny Smith said last night that he'd love to talk to Riley, but I don't think he's on Riley's radar. She may barely know who they are. Yeah, so yeah, I did see that video. I watched it, guys. Let's have a look. We all need to ask why Lisa never had contact with the Smiths, okay? Frederick, I watched Danny last night and he talked about Priscilla as well, didn't he? Right. Cassie says, are they in contact with Patsy? Angie is asking why. I don't know, Eva will probably didn't mention them by name in her book either. Right, okay, we're talking about the Smiths and mentioning Riley, right. Also, why didn't Lisa name the Smiths in her book? That's Melissa. I don't think so, Jane. Once Lisa broke away from her, she would have gone to them. I'm sure. So, Melissa, I'm sure what was said about her in the Memphis Mafia book didn't help, but it feels like something else happened prior to that. Okay? Saying that it's not being true to who Lisa was. She did what was right even when it went against Priscilla. Look what she did to the head of Scientology. I mean, that's the whole story in itself, isn't it, guys? Scientology did lots of tactics to Lisa Marie. Yeah, definitely. Don't forget, Lisa Marie went through a stage where she thought Scientology was great. Yeah, I've seen a few interviews with Lisa saying they put her, that it sorted her head out, put her on the straight and narrow. So it's all brainwashing, isn't it, guys? I don't understand how people give Lisa no credit. She has had her own thoughts and choices. She wasn't Priscilla's robot. Well, that's definitely true. Lisa marched into the face-off with the head of Scientology, and he hid from her and sent his sisters. Okay? A comedian once said, the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. And Lisa told Priscilla and family that they were done with the cult. So if Lisa wanted to contact people, she would have. Melissa, I understand that. And what was wrong? Let's have that. Lisa certainly turned against Scientology organization, but she didn't think they were all bad. She didn't criticize her time there in the 80s. Her views were nuanced. Lisa was a grown woman and knew what was up. I don't believe she would let Priscilla turn her against anyone unless she had her own reasons and thoughts. She told them, I won't F with you. You don't F with me. She did a lot behind the scenes to out them and wrote songs about them. So I'm just trying to play catch up, guys. Let's have a look. So Michelle says, I can see how Riley and the twins wouldn't know who the Smiths are. They are well known in the Elvis world, and I'm sure Lisa would have mentioned them, whether favourable or not. Yeah, come on, they know, guys. We're naturally nosy, aren't we? Yeah? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you, if you were the grandchild of Elvis Presley, you know, Lisa Marie's daughters? You're going to be nosy. You're going to know stuff, aren't you? Come on. 16 is... They probably know a lot more than we realise. Elvis' greatest wealth was growing up with two parents who put him first. Lisa lost that when he passed, and it affected her forever. I agree with that. And I always, you know, people have got strong views about Vernon, but I personally think that Vernon would have done anything for his son. Honestly, we had this discussion last week or the other day. I'm a big supporter of Vernon. I know he made mistakes. I know that he had an impossible job to do. But I think Vernon had, I can't even explain it. I think, could you imagine a normal person like Vernon Presley growing up in Mississippi Tupelo, suddenly having to help Elvis Presley, his son, and everything that entailed? Yeah, so I personally think Vernon gets a bad rap. I feel sorry for Vernon. That's just my views, guys. You may disagree with me because I know I do get a backlash when I talk about Vernon. It's just how I feel. I actually feel sorry for him. Right. Vernon made the decision to bring the family to Memphis. Gladys and Elvis did not want to move. Thank you very much. Hillbilly, should we call you by a name? Do you have a name? Should we call you by your name? Danny says that Vernon took them out of Elvis. Danny says that Vernon took them out of the will. Yeah, I've seen that. Is it true? I don't know. Is that true? Yeah. The bit I read was that Elvis had made a decision that he wanted to make sure that Priscilla was out of the will. Yeah, he really, let's do this. She's out. And that Vernon took it a step further and took the Smiths out as well. Is that true? That's the bit I read, yeah? Oh, hi, Matthew. We're going to call you Matt. Nice to meet you. I'm Louis. Nice to meet you, Matt. We can't say she doesn't care, Frederick. It could be the same reason her mother didn't speak to them. Right, let me read Frederick's comment. Sorry, I missed that. Obviously, Riley knows who they are, but it seems very distant to her. I wish that she cared, but she's very busy in her career. Oh, no, Frederick, I think she does care. I think Riley cares a lot. I do think this. This is what, when I watch Riley, this is what I think, that her body language and her facial expressions sometimes come across quite cold, but I actually think Riley really does care. Yeah, I think Riley is absolutely heartbroken that she's lost her mum. Yeah, I do think that when Riley talks about Elvis, yeah, I do think there is a disconnect between herself and the audience. It's hard to relate to it. But as soon as she talks about Lisa, her mum, you feel it. That's how I feel. As soon as she talks about her mum, Lisa, it's so obvious that Riley, Finley, and Harper were very, very close to Lisa. To me, it's obvious. Whenever I watch the interviews, that's just my opinion, guys. And I'm good at reading body language. I am. And come on, Riley worshipped Lisa and worshipped Finley and Harper. And Finley and Harper worship Lisa as well. I really believe that. We won't ever know about the will unless we can see the previous will without that. Yeah, because it was altered. I still say this, Frederick, that Riley, her facial expressions, her body language are a little bit tough. Some people just have a face where their emotions really show. I've always thought that Riley doesn't have that face. But saying that, she's a bloody good actress, isn't she? Riley is a fantastic actress. So, yeah. Now, just so in case you don't know, guys, Frederick, he really, really does deeply research into Riley Q. You know, if you want to know anything about Riley Q, Frederick is the man. He really, really knows his stuff. He really takes a deep dive into it. Frederick, he's amazing. Evie's father was like a rudder on a ship. He did his best to keep everything on course. Yeah, that's it. God bless his memory. Thank you. I love that. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, my friend. Riley cares. Have a look. Riley cares. Oh, sorry, it jumped up again. Riley cares, but her emotional connect to Graceland is not as strong as Lisa's. So if you want to visit, yeah. That's a good way of putting it. I agree. The emotional connection she has to Graceland, to Elvis, is different than the way she is with Lisa. With Lisa, it all pours out. Yeah. It's a different age group, it's a different generation. I understand. Don't forget, she also never met Elvis, you know? How is it possible for Vernon to take them out? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, I see what you mean. You mean remove things from the will, yeah? I read this. We read this the other day. Wasn't it in... Was it in the note? I'm sure it is. Was it in the notes? Yeah. Let me just have a look. I'll quickly look. You carry on talking, guys. I'll just see if it was mentioned. I'm just sure that Andrew Morella mentioned it. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's have a look. It was something was said that Vernon made this decision where he wanted Priscilla out of the will. Let's have a look. I'm sure it was Andrew that mentioned it. Probably not going to find it. So, no. There's some pretty interesting stuff, guys, in this, if you want to go back through. I'm sure he said it. I'm sure he mentioned it. No, I can't see it, but I'm someone on here was talking about the will when it was revised. I'm trying to remember where I watched it, where the will was revised and Elvis's sole intention was to remove Priscilla from the will, and it was hand delivered by someone. It was hand delivered. Who was it? Someone hand delivered the alterations to the will. Oh, who was it? Maybe Amy knows. Was it Marty Lacker? Amy, do you know when the will was altered? Someone hand delivered it. Oh, I can't remember. It's gone out of my head. Gone out of my head, mate. Right. What's the source on Vernon's taking it out? I'm sure was done after the divorce. Hi, Rosalind. How are you? Billy Smith said Vernon asked for the will and Billy gave it to him and Vernon took the page out that included Billy Smith in the will. There we are. That's Rosalind. See? So Billy Smith, Vernon asked for the will and Billy gave it to him and Vernon took the page out including the Billy Smith in the will. There we go. Right. We don't know how many revisions were made to that will, okay? Riley said it is sad to go to Grayson. She does not know Elvis personally. Yeah. Ginger signed it as a witness. Yes, I've read that. I have read that. I think Grayson's is special to her because it's a strong connection to Lisa. I think she just mistrusts people, and I think she is wise. Well, I bloody hope it is, because she's the owner. She's the owner, isn't she? So let's think about this. If a page was removed, language wouldn't flow from the page. Yeah, I don't think you can just remove a page, can you? I think you go, all right, I'll take that. Everything's numbered and categorized, and so it would have had to be properly done, wouldn't it? That, you know, for many sort of documents that I've read like that, that it's properly laid out in it. You'd know if a page was missing. It, you know, oh, let's just take this page up. You know, it doesn't work. So, but you know, we can't deny it, guys. The way that the Smiths have been treated, by Elvis's will, by Lisa Marie, almost like they don't exist. Yeah. Seems odd. Some may even say the same thing about Billy and his brothers. Yeah, the Stanley brothers. Yeah. There's questions to answer, isn't there? The will was a business thing. Elvis did not believe he could die. Neither did Vernon. It was for insurance purposes. Amy, I agree. I thought Elvis just signed the will without reading it. Elvis, Riley's mum and brother are buried there. Of course, it's Graceland is special for her. Yeah, I understand that. Ginger said on her page a few days ago that the Smiths weren't in it. The tension between Ginger and the Smiths is odd. Okay. Money was dwindling by the time of the last will. Elvis wanted to make sure it all went to Lisa. Yeah, I believe that 100%. I think Elvis always meant to make a fabulous will the way he dreamed and said it would be, but the will he signed was for expediency. Okay. So I think that's it, guys. We've thrashed it out. So I want to thank Andrew for his comments. It's pretty obvious Andrew is an avid Elvis fan. Yeah. He says on here he's not a Priscilla fan. I repeat, I don't agree with everything in this, but I do thank Andrew for taking the time to do 40 pages, whatever it is, you know, to do all this work. And I think that at the very least I can do for Andrew is just to read it out. If anyone wants to send me anything and me read it out, I'd happily do it. Yeah. But remember, if I read somebody else's research, it is not my research, it's somebody else's. So if any of you guys want to send me anything to read out, I'll do it. But it's your research, not mine. So I clearly say, guys, this is Andrew's research, not Louise. I'll give you my opinions, and we'll go through it together, discuss it, dispute it, debate it, and fall out over it, and argue about it, call each other names about it. But it ain't mine. It's Andrew's. So thank you, Andrew. Billy did not say what Elvis leave him in the will. It's odd. I really don't understand why anyone would have an issue with that or complain about it. Billy said that he was the original will but left out the revised one. I agree, Elvis. I don't plan to out my cousin and aunts and uncles in a will, nor do I expect anything from them. Yeah. I'll be honest, you guys. I'm just thinking out loud now. I've obviously we all write wills, don't we? I always, is it just me? But when I think of a will, I always think of me, my wife, my kids. I don't really think of cousins and brothers and sisters. And I think the reason being, you tell me, I'm just thinking out loud, guys. I think the reason is, like, for example, I have a twin brother. Well, I wouldn't expect him, if he died, I wouldn't expect him to leave his belongings to me or to my kids, or to my wife. I would expect him to leave his belongings to his wife and his children. So is it normal to give brothers, uncle, auntie, brother, sister, cousins, to leave things in a will for cousins, for brothers, sisters? Is it normal? I don't think it is, but you tell me, guys. My will leaves everything to my children and grandchildren. Yeah, there we are. That's what I'm trying, Michelle, that's what I'm trying to say, is that I know that people are saying, why were the Smiths left out of Elvis's will? But I'm saying, well, who leaves? Is it normal that you leave, when you die, you leave things to your brother's kids, sister's kids? You leave, as far as I know, you leave everything to your children and your wife, which is what I'd want. If I died tomorrow, I'd want my wife to have everything. I'd want my kids to have everything. Firstly, my wife. Then when my kids get older. You see what I mean? Everyone expected Elvis to support them for life. Jealousy and bitterness was born against the pages wouldn't make sense if one page was removed. I agree with that. And the lawyer has a copy of the will. Yeah, of course. If there's no other family members, yeah. I agree with you about the will. I would always just leave it to my immediate family, which is my daughter. Yes. Yes, that's what I think. I actually think to leave your inheritance to cousins is a bit odd. Yeah, bit odd. Yeah. Do even the royal family do that? I'm just thinking about our King of England. If he died, it goes to his kids, his wife, maybe not even his wife, actually. So, yeah, I tend to go along with that. I've got nothing against, nothing against the Smiths, but I respect Danny's channel, Danny's family, and Billy's family, but I would find it unusual to leave items to cousins. That's just me. In England, that's just me. look, come on, we know that the Smiths are held in high regard, are deeply loved by the Elvis community, by the Elvis fans, and many of us feel sorry for what they've had to go through, and for the fact it feels like they've been left out. You know, even when it concerns books and movies, etc. And it's sad that they haven't really been able to return to Graceland, isn't it? It is. Yeah, we think it doesn't feel right for the fans, for the Elvis fans, to see that the Smiths grew up with Elvis. Yeah, and now they're completely outside of the bubble. Yeah, and Elvis Presley Enterprises have almost never, as far as I know, have never really spoken about the Smiths, have they? So it's complicated, guys. Very complicated. Harry recently got an additional inheritance from the Queen's mother. Must have been held in trust until he reached a certain age. Yeah. Is Harry popular in America, guys? I don't know. Right, let's have a look. Patsy Gallenberg was very close to Elvis, like a sister. Lisa called her second mum. She has never complained about not getting anything. Okay, guys, I think we're done. I think we've thrashed it out, guys. So thanks for all your comments. Frederick. I like Harry. I like him. Yeah. So Diana is we love Princess Diana. Come on. We adore her. We adore her. We always have. She actually came to my hometown, Princess Diana. She came to my hometown for fish and chips. So guys, we don't have to agree on everything, do we? We can agree to disagree. Elizabeth did a comment just before I came on. So Elizabeth, are you still there? Elizabeth, are you there? Because you sent a comment. I think he did love. So we're talking about Elvis. This was Elizabeth's comment. Elizabeth, you sent me this comment. I think he did love her for a short time. So she's talking about the love of Elvis towards Priscilla. I think he loved Priscilla after they got married and she became pregnant. Now, whether you might consider a real love or not, I think it was at the time because he wanted to be a father and he wanted them to be a family. I don't think he wanted to get married, but once he did, he grew to love Priscilla because she was the mother of his child and he wanted to stay married to her. He became angry and hurt when she cheated on him and fell out of love due to the hurt she caused. He was determined, though, to stay friendly with her because Lisa, like you said, Lisa knew what was going on, but he did his best to hide it from her. So long story short, I do think he did love her for a while. I do think it was real love to even though it's super short, especially since to him it was. I do think that they do have some good time, that they did have some good times together. And during that time, he did love her and fell back on those memories at times. And not that his has to do with the question, but Priscilla is another story. That's Elizabeth comment. Hi, Elizabeth. I understand that comment. I understand what Elizabeth is saying. Elizabeth is basically saying that there could have been love sometimes. Elvis loved the thought of being a father. Of course, when Lisa came along, we all know Elvis was overjoyed. And I see what Elizabeth is saying. There could have been on-off moments of love. She's saying they did have some good times together. Yeah? So I understand that comment. And it's sort of what I was trying to say today when we were doing our live streams today, this morning. I was trying to say that for us to give a real honest, fair view on the life between Priscilla and Elvis, we have to know the whole story. We have to see the good and the bad from both people, from whether it was Elvis or from Priscilla. We have to know more of a complete picture, and that way we get nearer to the truth. And I think Elizabeth's comment sort of hints at that there's more to it. There's more to it. So thanks for that comment, Elizabeth. I'll quickly read your comments before I go. Elizabeth, did I embarrass you? I know Elizabeth gets a bit embarrassed. Right, the kids are coming in. Right, well, I'm finishing now, guys. Yeah, we love Princess Diana. Well, I'm finishing now. So, anyway, guys, thanks everyone. Thanks for everyone's joining in. Thanks, Auntie Amy, for helping us. I'm coming up now, kids. I know you want me to. Get off those phones! Cassie, I don't hate Harry and William. I just care for them. Diana is the only one relevant to us Americans. We love Diana. Meghan and Charles are more controversial. Yes. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm not going to talk about Meghan. Because she's another story. I agree. Yeah, thanks, guys. It's nice to come on late, have a live stream late, which I hardly ever do now. Almost never. So I've enjoyed it. Guys, we are open to debate. We are open to agree to disagree. We don't have to agree with each other, but we also don't have to fall out. Yeah? If we disagree, it's okay. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. It's just debating, discussing, never arguing. Yeah? Always from love, always with kindness and forgiveness. Okay, guys? We're out of here. Thanks for joining me. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks to everyone that has joined in on this conversation. Signing out at 9:10 p.m. in the UK. I'll see you in the morning.